All right. Hello. Um, so yeah, I'm thought I would work a little bit on. I haven't streamed since before New Year's, I think. Um, and we haven't done any CodeSandbox streams, but we will. We're just working on something that requires all our attention, and we're actually having a session next week or a week after to talk about what we want to do with our stream. Because we kind of want to, like, it's really hard to build a community, and CodeSandbox isn't really about, like, the stream isn't about like building a huge ass community. It's more about, maybe even more for us than for anyone else, because it gives us an opportunity to talk about other things, like libraries floating around, talk about like the unique challenges we have in our application. It's just a different way to kind of step outside and talk about stuff. But maybe it can be valuable for other people as well. We'll see what happens. But anyways, we'll keep streaming on my personal stream, because it's the same for me. Like, I think and work differently when I do a stream than if I just sit around coding. So I'm working on this branch because, as I mentioned in the title, Impact is actually running in production at CodeSandbox now. Our Git flow, everything related to Git in the editor, is actually running on Impact. It was a really nice surprise how like seamless it was to introduce it to the code base. And also we have a new feature coming out that's also built with Impact. It's been Danilo that's been working on that, and he had a great experience using it. So yeah, this has already been a success for us. And then I also did a demo on Friday. I can even show it to you now. So Impact has this debugger. So when I click stuff here, you can see I can open this and we have the debugger. And it just shows you a timeline of signals triggered. And it's really cool that you kind of get, let's see, I'm just gonna say I'm on dev. You get we use source map information to show where signals changed. So it says that it changed in change foo, and this was the title. And it was called from onClick, which happens in the index file. Well, I guess both are in the index. And then it was observed by dev, which is the dev component. And what's really cool is that if I, like, this is an npm package, Impact Debugger is just loaded with the rest of this app. But if I click this, what? It actually opened the file in CodeSandbox on that specific line where it actually changed this signal. That's pretty cool. And this is something, I guess I'm exploring as a concept for CodeSandbox, is how we can use our previews as like a interface, not like UI interface, but programming interface for enabling debugging experiences. And it's kind of cool because you can think about, like, for VS Code to be able to become a debugging interface, like, how should I put this? So for there to be a connection between VS Code locally and your browser, they have to like link together. So VS Code has this implementation where you can start a debugging kind of context in Edge. And then you can kind of, like, if you click a source map URL in the console, in the DevTools in the browser, it opens the file in your project. But you have to configure your project to do this and stuff. But with CodeSandbox, we can actually use the fact that we're in the cloud to enable these capabilities. And since you're running your previews on our infra, We can do all sorts of crazy stuff. It's really, really awesome. But I was exploring something because I think I have some debugging information here. Yeah. So let's see. Yeah, that's another thing. I wonder why every time I trigger these signals, and I can't believe it's like, can't be the signals. I think maybe it's because it's running a Vite bundle. I think you can see it here. Or did I clear the console? Yeah, it can't run. It's, for some reason, it's running the preview protocol twice. So it breaks the messaging. Anyways, I just need to close and open it again. I'm gonna debug that more next week. But anyways, so what we're gonna explore is observer. There we go. So I'm using use state here now, but because I thought I saw something weird. So what we can use here is sync external store, where we say context.subscribe update, and then context. Yeah, I removed that. Let's see. Let's go back and grab it. Get snapshot. Return this snapshot. Yeah, so I think this is also going to work. But as you can see, it did 2 renders here. 3 renders. I'm not sure why it does that. Like, I guess it does 2 because it's, am I using strict mode? Root render dev. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not using strict mode even. And it has 2 renders when I use sync external store. But if I use this one, it has 1 render. So I tried to do a bit more research on use sync external store. It is designed kind of for what we're doing here, but it's to simplify where you can have complexity where you need to add like multiple effects and stuff, but we never need to do that. So I think it's just fine to use an effect here. I feel like I have more control doing that, but we have to deal with some stuff because what I'm testing now is that I'm changing this signal, and in the actual file we are changing foo and we're changing mip, and I'm consuming foo twice. So previously it would actually do a double render on this because I'm consuming foo twice. So wait, would it? Oh, let me get back into this. So we have an observer context. The observer context registers 2 signals. And when that signal changes, it goes... Wait, how did this actually work? So when I set a value, blah, blah, signal. Yeah, it runs notify on the signal, right? And then it goes through, yeah. So it will iterate. Wait a minute. Let me go through that. It's a long time since I implemented this. I don't have this in my mind. Let's see. So we have a signal, and I'm changing that signal. And that's based on this signal tracker. And then when we notify, there's a single context. So it notifies once. Yeah, so that would be the same. But the point there is if I do change, sorry, not change foo, upper foo, that's a different signal, but it's the same component. So this is fine if I click now. What? Oh, now I did something weird. Now it didn't update at all. Why didn't it update? Okay, so this is what we're exploring. Like, how are we going to use... What the fudge? Register getter. Oh, register setter. Wait, where do we actually... Oh, this is the observer context. Yeah, because now I'm using the value of the signal as a snapshot. And okay, so to talk about this, what I'm actually exploring here is how are we going to make this observer update? Currently, I'm trying to think about using the value of a signal as an indicator, because if you change multiple signals for the same observer context, it will render multiple times for that observer context. But React actually does batching automatically. So this is the thing. I don't want to implement any batching. I want to rely on React's batching, which means that if you change a signal through onClick, for example, that will automatic or a timeout or similar things. React will batch multiple calls to set state. But then you might do something async and then it doesn't batch. So we're going to play around with this to kind of feel this. But now nothing updated. I think it's because I have this concept of a snapshot. And I don't think it necessarily makes sense to have that. That's the thing. It's like an observer context might have multiple signals registered to it. So it doesn't really make sense to use the value of a signal as the snapshot to make the component update. It might as well be like a counter. So every time a signal notifies a change, we just bump the count, which will make the set state run. But that won't handle the case if you change a signal to the same value. Then it will still trigger because we just bump the value for to trigger the render. But then if we base it on the value, then we can handle that. But as I said, it can be multiple. It can be multiple. It can be multiple signals. Maybe we don't even need a snapshot. But I want to explore this because I think there's something to it. So we don't have this snapshot. What we rather do is that we notify with a value. We don't know the value. Let's just notify with it because we use that for the set state to actually have something new to update. So do we have the value here? No. Then we have errors here. So this will be signal notify. Yeah, I guess we can just use value. Okay, let's see how this behaves. Oh, we need more of them. Value and value. Okay, so now we're back to... Oh, interesting. Now it has a double render again. What the hell? Derived calculated. Maybe we should drop the derived for now. Do this one step at a time. Let's drop this one. So we render. Oh, it does a double. But this is really weird. Why does it do a double render? Do we even notify the context-wise? Oh, I'm a little bit confused. No, we notify once. Now I am super confused. Wait, now it was... I'm not sure if I actually trust this thing. Yeah, I think we're gonna use the actual proper console here, just so we're sure that this is working. Let's see. Let's do this. Okay, let's update render. Okay, so set state. Oh, do I have... Oh yeah, of course it doesn't clear the log. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so this does work. Where's my what the fuck? Cool. And then blah blah blah. Renders again. Renders again. Cool. And now if I... Yeah, and now if I have to test food, that shouldn't matter, because even though there are two getters added to this, observer, where's observer context? When we notify, yeah, let's just see what happens. Yeah, it's still one, and it should be. Cool. But what the hell happened with that derived thing? That was a mystery to me. So upper foo. Yeah, we just render once. I wonder what that... Yeah. This is expected. Cool. And the right calculator from dev creating value bar observed by dev. This is exactly what we expect. Now, the problem with this approach is that what if we go in here in our logic, we change this .foo by adding that thing, which triggers a set state that's like a new value. Yeah, we have to add another. Let's just do bar bass. So we're going to say this foo, but then we're going to set this bar plus equals boss. Sorry, equals boss. Let's drop this mip thing. So what I mean to say here is that because we're using the value of a signal as a way to trigger the update, I worry that wait, sorry, this shouldn't be boss. This should be the old value of foo, which is bar. This is the point. Like foo is now bar. I'm triggering, so I'm changing foo, adding that exclamation, but now I change a different signal on the same observer context, but it has the same value as this previously had. So the set state will now just change back to bar, which it already had. So I don't think it will update when I click it, but it did. Why did it do that? Let's look at the subscription just to see what it, because I wonder how, if React actually handles that. That's my question. Because we are definitely value. This is definitely fired twice. Fire value. So first it fires undefined. Why is it undefined? Wait, what the hell? So render. Why is this undefined? That doesn't make any sense. Because I'm changing foo to value equals new value. Okay, this is interesting. This is very valuable insight for me. Notify value. Notify bar. Notify undefined. Okay. And then it fires. Oh, sorry. I should. Then it fires undefined. Then we notify bar again. This is confusing. Sub. Okay, what I would expect to happen is like, since we are changing foo, we are notifying the observer context with the value foo exclamation mark. And that should trigger the subscription immediately. Let's just see that running. Notify bar. But there's another notify. Where's that coming from? I'm not changing anything. Oh, is it the derived? Oh, sorry. I think it's the derived. Yeah, sorry. Here. This should also be value. Sorry. That was the confusion. It's because we have derived firing. But it's interesting. That derived shouldn't fire. That's also something I want to validate. Derived. Because what happened now was we created a subscription to that context. Oh, this is not the correct implementation. Oh, this shouldn't happen in the... Oh, I did a bad thing. Prev value. You shouldn't... Should just set it to... Oh, interesting. Because this is the tricky thing about derived, is that it's lazy, right? So we want to notify that it's dirty in case anyone is consuming that derived. But we don't actually want to recalculate it. Yeah, this is wrong. This is a bad implementation. We want to recalculate it when you consume the value. So we don't really need this listener stuff. We're just going to, yeah, I don't know. I'm actually very conscious about how this should be implemented. But for some reason, I've been messing around here. Because the only thing we should really need to do is whenever there's a change in the context, we just need to signal that it has changed. And then if it's dirty, wait, maybe there was a reason I did this. If it's dirty, we are going to calculate a new value. Yeah, I think this is just yeah, because I already did it. Yeah, here I did it. Value. Why do we do it inside here as well? That doesn't make any sense. Feels like I'm doing it twice. So we render, we notify bar. Yeah, and this is the thing. Like, what are we going to pass here? Because now let's just pass this through. So let's just call it new value and we'll just reuse that just to see what happens. Okay. So we notify first, we're changing the signal, and then we have a derived that's using that signal. And now that derived notifies about it changing. And now the subscription takes this signal, sorry, this notification from the derived and triggers a set state with the value. Yeah, with the value that with the original change, which was bar exclamation mark. And then we get a notification from the original signal setting, which triggers the set state again, but it only renders once. And this is because it synchronously happens through a click. But if we now make this trigger the old value, let's see what happens now. So it still triggers. So here we go in, we notify bar, we notify bar. And we do, oh, this is interesting. Oh, sorry, I'm not consuming bar here. That's the issue. So let's drop the derived. Let's, oh my God, let's just drop the derived. I just want to test in isolation what I wanted to test. So now we have bar bas. When I click, this is interesting. So I notify with bar, the subscription gets bar. Yeah, exactly. This is what I wanted to test. So, you know, when you do a set state and you do a set state with the same value, nothing happens. And since I'm running this synchronously, I am really changing it to the same value because it was originally bar. No, it was undefined. Sorry. I need to change this to undefined because it starts out as undefined. Sorry. Okay, let's see what happens now. Now it shouldn't render. Yeah, exactly. Now it does what I expected. Because it was previously undefined, it's now undefined, it's stale. It didn't re-render. Well, it did re-render though. Wait a minute. That's weird. Okay, this is even more confusing. Why did it render? That's super confusing. Render bar bas. Yeah, and it even has the new values. Okay, so I guess React, for some reason, it will actually do the reconciliation, but it doesn't apply it. Because none of the state. That's weird. Why does it even render? That's super weird. But the point is that the UI doesn't update because there wasn't a real state update within the component. So this is what can happen if we use the so all of this was if we use the value as a snapshot, the value of a signal as a snapshot, we can get into this situation. So that's not a good idea. What we can do is use just an incrementer. So every time we notify an observer context, it needs to render, we just bump the value. And then React's batching mechanism will take care of, like, if multiple signals within the same synchronous, like on-click or timeout or whatever, triggers, it will only do one render. So we can implement that now just to see that running. And I think we need to be a little bit careful here. No, I don't think we need to be careful. Let's see. Private, what should we call this? Version or something? I don't know. We do not pass a snapshot here anymore. Oh, wait, we do. Let's just call it version number. But we don't subscribe. Yeah, we call it version and number. And then, but we don't notify with the value anymore. So what we do is that we just say this.version bumps, and then we don't notify with the value here. We don't ask for a value here. Shouldn't pass any values here. Blah, blah, blah. No values here. No values here. but in this observer, yeah, that's fine. We'll see the counter bump now. So now we can see it actually updated because it moved from 0 to 1 and it only ran through the render once, even though we updated it twice, which is exactly what we want. But let's try something now. Let's make this async and await a promised result. Now in this case, we are firing synchronously after async. There's no way for React to hook into this synchronous code. So if I save now and we click, I expect it to render twice, but it didn't. How does React? Huh, that's interesting. That's a good thing, but I don't understand why. How does React batch these two updates? How is React able to do that? We need to read about this. We need to read about this. React set state batching. Batching. Automatic batching in React 18. Before blah blah blah. To say the manager user onload user function will be invoked on button click. You can try it, blah blah blah. If you observe the browser, you will see that state change message is low only once for both state initial and blah blah blah. Now you have seen that React batched both state and re-render the component only one. But what if we execute it? In the context that is not associated, for example, consider fetch call that asynchronously loads data. If you observe the browser console after, you will see two messages. Exactly. This is what we just did. How batching works in this is React 18 invoked from any location will be batched by default. This will batch state updates, including native event handlers, asynchronous operations, timeouts, and intervals. But how? Like, I don't understand how it can do that. Okay. Oh, check out discussions here. Oh, what is batching? Oh, this is interesting. I can make it bigger. Group multiple state updates into a single re-render for better performance. Blah, 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 blah. This is great for performance. However, it wasn't consistent about when it batches. What is automatic? Starting in React 18, we create all updates will automatic. Yeah, because this is what I haven't understood with other observable implementations like signals and stuff, is that they have this batching, but you don't need that. React does the batching for you. But I didn't know it did it this well. Anyways, this means that update, maybe because those libraries are like more agnostic, they're not specific to React, but even though the impact signals really aren't specific, doesn't have to be specific to React, they are like tightly connected to contexts and all that stuff. So maybe that's a benefit then. We expect this result in less work and therefore better performance. Okay, so you have to use React root, but how does it do it? How much updates no matter where the updates are, it behaves the same as this. Behaves the same as this is the one I'm very curious about. But if we don't, what? Oh, interesting. Oh, okay. Yeah, because this is the thing. Like, if you want to update an input, you have to do that synchronously. Okay, so maybe they just handle this now in React. Like the biggest problem is when you want to sync an input. Like if that doesn't happen synchronously, you will get into issues. But maybe that's handle. But this is amazing. This is really great. Then it behaves exactly like we want it to. Oh, my battery is low. Just gonna plug in. Well, I have to get off soon, but let's see. Okay, so let's get back to our derived here. So we're gonna do a little experiment. Let's change these state values. So we're gonna have a run derived, which is false, and run whatever. Run derived false. Yeah, let's just do foo, and then we have upper foo. So when we run, we're going to change foo to a new value. Oh, they're home already. Just 2 seconds. Someone's at the door. 2 seconds. Isn't that typical? Like the door never, no one's at the door ever, but exactly when I have some time for myself. Oh, it's typical. Anyways, we're going to change this value, and then we're gonna have a count here, and we're going to increase that count. Oh, I'm on here on my other computer as well. Let's see. Let's jump out of this. There we go. So if the count equals 2, then we're going to say this run derived equals true. So the first time we run it, it just changes the value. We want to flag the derived as dirty, but it shouldn't recalculate anything. It's only when we say that it's only when we consume the derived and it's dirty that we actually want to consume it again. So we're going to do a check here. We're going to say test run derived test upper foo, and then we're going to say run. We're going to remove this, Feel like that's working. Let's see. So nothing's happening here now. When I click it. So under the hood now. Wait, god damn it. Let's do this like this. If count equals 1, this really shows how flexible and dynamic like targeted observation is. Let's see. So now we changed it to foo, but now we won't change it, but we should have a flag derived. So now this derived upper foo should show. And it did calculate it, but is it here? But it's not there. Oh, look at this. Oh, yes, this was the problem. I remember now. I was actually a little bit unsure about this, having this private, because the thing is that every time we re-render a component, we'll create a new observer context. And we have this risk of actually like creating a new. So we need a global version. So we never accidentally produce the same version as we change the observer context, which is fine. And we can put it here. We say static version equals 0. And then we rather say observer context version. Oh, good thing we tested this. And then we get it there. And this is exactly the behavior we want. What I don't quite understand there is the order of things. I thought I added the latest. No, the timeline is down. Yeah, I wasn't sure how to display this. Like, should we have the latest first? Or should the latest be like last? So we're kind of adding signals. I think the opposite really makes more sense, but we have this line here. And I think that line should rather be up there. Maybe we can fix that. Oh, but I'm very happy about this change. Oh, not impact dev. This is already bumped, I think. Where's the debugger? We need to update the debugger as well. Let's make that 3 since we're making like a feature. So we have our list of, where is it? Current debug data. So we'll flip this around. We'll put that first and then to this. So when we now look at this, we click it, we have that signal there. And then we change that and then it derived that value, which is correct. But the funny thing is this line here. So how does this work? We have an indicator and it's like, how the hell does this stuff render? Can I just change that? Oh, that was deeply nested. So that's that thing. Where's the actual line? There's the line. So what if we take that span and rather say bottom? Well, let's, what the hell? What did I do? Where did it go? Wait, where did it go? What the fuck happened? Where did it go? Sorry, I'm using Arc. I actually love it, but where the fuck did my tab go? That's weird. Oh, there it is. Oh, yeah, sorry. I forgot. This is the annoying thing. You can't really, that's the only thing that annoys me with Arc. You can't do new tab and then like have favorite, like bookmarks in the same sense you do in Chrome. Like I usually have my home screen on Chrome and there I go to like create new things. But here you like the bookmark is like stuck. It doesn't create a new tab. It's just one consistent tab. Anyways, let's check this one instead. Oh, why is that bottom? Oh, did I change all of them? Of course I did. Bottom one. It's a span. What's the name of it? Impact debugger. In a wrapper flow item wrapper line. That's the thing. Let's just see how it looks when I do a bath. Oh, god damn it. Hallo? Hei. Ja. Ja. Nei, jeg er ikke klar. Ja. Ha det. Let's see. How does this look? Like it shouldn't be. Why is it? God damn, this is going to be so much more difficult than anything else we did. Bottom. Is this like a position absolute width height 100%? Why is bottom one? Yeah, I guess the problem is that it's like, it depends on the height of this whole thing. 100%. Oh, is it the padding? So if we do padding top instead. Ah, look at that. Got the skills. There we go. I think this will make more sense. So now we do that. Yeah, I think so. And then we could have like a dummy thing here. This is pretty nice. I'm going to, yeah, I have to go, but this is nice. I'm gonna build this stuff into the new version. Did I bump 48.5? Yeah, I guess that's, I really want to test this first. Well, it's a release candidate, it doesn't matter. So let's go in impact app, yarn build and npm publish. And then we'll do the same for the impact debugger. And I'm gonna test this in the CodeSandbox application because it has a lot of complex stuff going on. And then that should be a good verification. Cool, create PR. Fix observer context. updates and debugger timeline. I guess that's the gist of it. Well, I guess we also fixed the ride anyways. I don't care. Cool. That's it. Yeah, very happy about this. Very happy about this. So yeah, thanks for watching, and then I guess we'll talk.